everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is staying nice and comfy and warm. I don't know about you guys, but where I live, it has been freezing below like 20 degrees Fahrenheit. I think right now it's 12 degrees, and it's freezing. And we are also predicted to get somewhere between 5 to 7 inches worth of snow this weekend. So I am trying to prepare. I'm trying to stay comfy. Also, I got a new tattoo. You guys will probably see it, but I'll put a close up of it right here. But I just got it done yesterday, and it's fresh and it's a little sore, but oh, it's so beautiful. I love it so much. But not the point of this video. The point of this video is I have a little tutorial for you guys. I'll put a timestamp here if you want to skip my yapping and just jump straight into the tutorial. I totally understand. Um, Also, I got a new mic, so hopefully the sound is better. I got a lot of comments saying that I needed to better the audio, so hopefully this works and it sounds better. But anyways, with it being cold and us expected to get snow, I really want to knit something super comfy and warm. So that's what we're going to be doing in today's video. This project is super quick, works up super fast. So if that interests you at all, continue watching. This is also very beginner friendly. I'll walk you through every single step of how to start knitting. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop right into it. Okay, so for this specific project, you're going to need a chunky based yarn. I'm just using I Love This Chunky. I got it from Hobby Lobby. It is a size 5 bulky. Okay, so any 5 bulky yarn that you have will work well with this project. Like I said, I'm just using this one I got from Hobby Lobby, but it doesn't have to be this specific brand. You can use any. You're going to need a tape measure. Basically, you're just going to need this to know how long to work your knitted headband, a pair of scissors, and here I'm using my set of 6mm US 10 knitting needles. These are the Clover Takumi, the bamboo, and I just have them on a 16-inch cord because the project is not going to be very wide, but you can use whatever length you have. Okay, so if you're using a different yarn than me, even though it's a 5 bulky, make sure to look at your gauge here. So for me, if I wanted my project to be 4 inches, it would be 12 stitches. However, I want mine to be 2.5 inches wide. So I am going to cut that in half so it'll be 6 stitches. And then I'm going to add another 2, so I'm going to do 8 stitches. Because I want my project to be about 2.5 inches wide, we're doing 8 stitches. So if your gauge is different than mine, just figure out how many stitches you need in order to get the width that you want. But like I said, for me, I just want it to be 8 stitches. So starting out, we're going to make a slip knot. Knitting and crochet both start out with a slip knot. So if you do either one, you'll know how to make it. But if you don't know how to make a slip knot, it's super easy. You're just going to take 2 fingers, take your yarn here, close to the palm of your hand. We're going to wrap it around just like so, and wrap it around again. So we have an X facing us, but if we turn our hand over, we have 2 loops, okay? So going under the first loop here, I'm going to grab the second and pull it through, okay? Taking my 2 fingers out and pulling up, you've made a slip knot. So taking our needle and putting it through the slip knot, we're going to take our tail that is not connected to our ball of yarn, and you're going to pull. And if you did your slip knot correctly, it should tighten on your needle. So how we're going to be starting this project is we're going to do the long tail cast on. You can do any cast on method you'd like, but I prefer the long tail cast on method. If you've never done it before, it's super easy. Okay, so non-connected tail goes on your right side here. Connected tail to your ball of yarn goes on your left side, okay? What I'm going to do is take my index finger and my thumb here, put it in between the 2 tails, and you're just going to wrap around like so, okay? So you should have 2 loops here. So showing you again, index finger should be closest to the non-connected tail, and thumb connected tail, okay? Stick it through between your two tails, and you're just going to wrap and then use your other fingers here to grab the two tails together. Okay, so we should have two kind of bunny ears happening here, two loops. And so now that you've got your yarn held, to start the cast on, what we're going to do is take our needle here and go underneath the left loop, left side of the loop here on our thumb, okay? Keeping our thumb in. Now we're going to take our needle and go through the left side of the loop here on our index finger, keeping our index finger, okay? Now what you're going to do is take your thumb and take the whole loop and put it on your needle, and the thumb should come out, okay? And then once you start to tighten the yarn, you've got a second loop, okay? So same thing, index and thumb go in between the two tails and wrap, using your other fingers to catch the two tails, taking your needle and going under the left side of the loop that's on your thumb, taking your needle and going over and through the left side of the loop on your index finger, and then taking the whole loop on your thumb, putting it on the needle, thumb out, and tightening. So now we have 3 loops, okay? So you're just going to do that until we get to 8. So it's 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay? So 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, so now you've got your stitches casted on. What next? Well, this project is going to be worked in the garter stitch, which is just knitting, okay? Only one stitch, and it's the knit stitch. So what we're going to do is we've got all of our loops here on the left, here on the left needle. Taking our right needle that has no loops on it, what you're going to do is stick the needle through the loop that's on your left needle, okay? So if you're looking at it, right, you've got this front side of the loop and this back side of the loop. So we're going to be going from the left side and through the right side, just sticking it on under the front loop, okay? So just like so. Now we're going to take the tail that is connected to your ball of yarn. And I knit English style, but there are other ways how to knit, like continental. But English is easiest for me, and it's how I learned, so that's what I'm going to be using. But you're going to take the working tail of yarn in your right hand, okay? And I wrap it around my index finger to kind of give me tension. So you're going to take that tail from the back to the front and loop it onto your right needle like so. Now you're going to pull that working yarn back through the loop, okay? Just like so. I'll show you one more time. Going from left to right of the front part of the loop on your left needle, taking your working tail of yarn and wrapping it from back to front on the right needle, pulling that loop through with your right needle, and now you pull that off of your left needle. So now we've knitted our first stitch, and we're going to do that again for the remaining 7. So going through the second loop from left to right, just the front portion of the loop, taking our working yarn and wrapping it from back to front, and using our right needle to pull that loop through and pull it off your left needle. So that's the knit stitch. Do that for the remaining 6, and I will meet you back for row 2. So now we've knitted all 8 stitches. This is what it should look like after you've finished the 8th one. Now what we're going to do is turn our work. So working tail is on your left side. You're just going to turn it. Now it's on your right side. Okay? And same thing, all of your working stitches are now on your left needle and none on your right needle. So for row 2 and on until it reaches your desired length, okay, you're going to be doing the exact same thing. There's no other stitches, just the knit stitch, and this is going to give you the garter stitch, okay? And I love it. I think it looks really, really nice, and it also works up super, super quick, especially with this yarn choice. It's going to work up so, so fast. So again, just doing your knit stitch, going from left to right under the front portion of the loop, wrapping your working yarn from back to front, and pulling off of your left needle with your right needle. This is the only stitch we're going to be doing throughout the project. And honestly, I love this stitch. It's so nice for, especially if I'm just like watching TV or watching a video or something. It's not like a lot of thought, I guess. Like I can do this without looking, especially with the chunkier yarn. Um, and it's like I don't have to count stitches or place any markers or anything like that. It just works up so, so fast. I use this stitch a lot for like knitted wearables like headbands and hats and scarves and things like that. I love it so, so much. My yarn split here, so I'm just pulling it over there. So now I'm on row 3. And so this yarn has a little bit of a stretch, right? So with our headband, you want it to be about 22 inches to maybe 23 and a half, depending on your head size, long, okay? But here's the thing. Since our yarn has a little bit of a stretch, right? You don't want it to meet your length exactly, okay? Because then it's going to feel too big on your head and not really hold well, right? So what you want to do after you've finished your project is you just kind of give it a little tug and see how much stretch your yarn actually has, okay? So you're not knitting it too long, right? So as you can see, like my project here was all shriveled up, but then once you give it just a little tug, then it meets the inch measurement, right? Because your project will relax, especially after blocking and things. Your project will stretch out, and you don't want it to be too big after it stretches. So I'm going to knit as many rows as it takes to get to 22 inches long with a little stretch, okay? So we're just going to keep on doing this, and I will meet you back with the finished product. But like I said, same exact stitch, nothing is changing. And that's how you get the garter stitch, which really looks so nice. I really enjoyed this stitch a lot. I think it's beautiful. Okay, so I have knitted our headband. So I'm just going to show you my finished measurement. Okay, so holding the measuring tape, right, and giving it just like the teeniest bit of stretch, we've got about 22 and a half inches, okay? So that's what I mean, like, don't knit it all the way to 22 and a half because it's going to like stretch a little bit when it's on your head, and you want it to stretch so that way it actually stays and it doesn't just like, it's not too big, you know? So what we're going to do is we need to cast off, okay? So to cast off, what you're going to do is you're going to knit your first 2 stitches like normal, okay? Just like so. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to take the first loop that we knitted here, closest to the bottom of our needle, and with your left needle, you're going to go from left to right under the first or the front portion of the first stitch, and we're going to pull it over the second stitch. Just like so. So all we did was just loop it right through, and we're going to do that all the way down. So knitted the next stitch, taking from left to right the front portion of the loop. You can even hold your second loop if it's a little difficult to get off here. Like I'm having a little bit of a struggle. Here we go. Hold your second loop. And there we go. Knit your next stitch from left to right, going under the front loop of your first loop closest to the bottom of your needle. Pulling it off. And just like that, that's how you cast off. You can use a crochet hook. I've done that a couple of times, but honestly, with this chunkier yarn, it's not too hard to cast off. Okay, so now we have 1 loop left. What I'm going to do is take my scissors, and I'm going to cut like a decent long tail so that I can sew it all together. But now that we've cut our working yarn, just pull your needle up like that. And now it is tied off. So now that we cast it off, we can finally start the sewing. I did forget to mention that we need a tapestry needle or a finishing needle to sew up our project and weave in our tails. So I'm just going to use that. Might be a little hard to get the chunky yarn through the needle, but I just like to give it a twist, try and make it a little bit smaller. There we go. And now we just sew up our 2 sides here. Really, like, there's no rhyme or, like, method to sewing it up, at least for me. This is just what I do and it works. But really, we just want to sew it together, sew our 2 sides here. I kind of just go through one of the garter stitch loops and then going through the back loop of the stitches that we casted off. But as long as it sews it shut and keeps it together, then it's done its job. Okay, so now your headband is all sewn together. But we still need to weave in our ends here. So you can use your tapestry needle, but I'm going to use this finishing needle by Susan Bates. It comes in like a 5-pack, I believe, of just all different sizes. And honestly, it is so handy, especially for weaving in your ends. I love it so, so much. But basically, I'm just going through a couple of stitches and then you stick the tail through like so. And then you just take your finishing needle and it pulls the yarn through for you. And then while it's still tight, I like to snip the tail So that way when it is pulled and kind of relaxed, it keeps the tail in there for you. So I find these things really, really handy. I had seen a lot of people using them and I finally just bought them. I think it was like 5 or 6 sizes and it was like $6, so they're pretty cheap and so handy. Okay. So ends all woven in. This is our newly hand knitted earmuff warmer headband. I love these things. They're so comfy and they keep my ears so warm. So this is really nice if you just don't want to wear a hat, if you're not a hat girly when it's cold out. These are super nice and so comfy. I love the chunky yarn. It is so warm. So do you guys see him? Okay. So I just put on our knitted headband. Here's how it's looking. This is why I made it 2.5 inches wide, because then it really covers your ear. You don't have it like coming out or not being covered or anything. So, but this is so cute. I love it. I love the knitted headbands. They are so comfy, especially when you want to put your hair up like in a ponytail. You can't really do that with toboggans, or what do some other people call them? Beanies. I call them beanies too. I don't know why I was struggling to think of that word, but you know, you can't put your hair up or anything like that with a beanie, but with the knitted headbands, you can. And they keep your ears nice and warm, and especially with the chunky, thick yarn, it really keeps the heat in, and they're so cute. But what's he doing? Oh, oh. Why is he looking at me like that? I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. I still have tons of yarn left, so I'll probably make a couple more for family members and things like that. But they work up so quick. So I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. Hopefully I explained everything nicely for you. If you've never knitted before, this I feel is a really good beginner project. And the garter stitch I think just looks so nice and so cute. I love it so much. So hopefully you guys do as well. Okay, and with that, we are going to leave it here for today. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I believe this video is coming out on a Friday, so hopefully you guys had a great week and have a good weekend. And I will see you back here on Monday with another video. And in the meantime, you guys can find me over on my Instagram. And I also just wanted to say we are so close to do 2,000 subscribers, and it's so insane. It's so crazy. I know I say it in every video, but I just want every single one of you to know how grateful I am that you like my content or liked me as a person enough to subscribe and keep coming back for more videos and content from me. And yeah, I just really wanted to say thank you. We hit monetization on this channel, which is so weird. So I'm getting ad revenue now. Just wanted to be completely transparent with you guys that we did hit that, and it's so cool. So cool. I think I've made like $6 so far, which I'm not doing this for the money. I hope you guys know that. I just really genuinely enjoy knitting and crochet and everything in between, and I really just wanted to share that with you guys and make content and things like that. So, but I just hope you guys know that I am so grateful for every single one of you and grateful for this opportunity. And yeah, I'll see you guys in Monday's video, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. Bye!